funny they say that, oh, we're such narcissists because we have our phones and we're recording ourselves all the time and we're doing this and that. But the truth is,
God.
like, yeah, we love us some us.
Oh, hell yeah.
But we're not like narcissists about it.
we thread that needle.
Yeah, there's a good amount of self-hate that comes with all of it.
Oh yeah, good Lord. Especially in this generation, the millennial generation.
So speaking of which,
oh,
let me take you back to a year called 1999.
Oh, this is my shit.
And so, what console did you have growing up?
I was not allowed to have a video game console because my parents knew that if I had it, I would just do nothing but play with it. And they were 100% right. I loved buttons so much as a kid that I would not stop. Unlocking and locking automatic car doors. So I was supposed to not get a video game console until I was 10. And then for Christmas when I was 9, or I guess 9.5, got a Nintendo 64. And that was huge.
That's almost exactly how ours went too.
Is that right?
Well, my dog loves getting pet, but he always go to the guests.
You really?
It's to the guests every time
Because he knows.
and like this is opposite sides too. Like so. He's just always going. It's not like he has a favorite side. He's just like, oh, there's company. Pet me.
Yeah. He's not like the left side of the couch is the way to go. He's like, who's the one that's here that isn't my mom or dad?
Anyways, no, my brother had a Nintendo, but I think he had a Nintendo before I was supposed to be around or something. Or I don't know. I think it was like maybe he got it like we got a Nintendo, but it was like really his, and then I kind of grew into it.
Yeah, okay.
But we had, like I said, we only had like 6 games, and you couldn't play new games, so we just really fell in love with like Mario, Ice Hockey, Kirby's Adventure, Punch Out.
Those are classics,
right?
Though. Those are
so we did good. We didn't have Link. And we didn't really have Mega Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mega Man was always a rental, but that's how much we rented it.
Yeah, because you love Mega Man.
Yeah,
you know a lot about it.
Well, ever since I could illegally download.
Yeah, dude.
Anyways, this is not about those.
Anyway, this is about Wendy's. Where's the beef?
This is about the Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, shit. I know nothing about this except for when it came out. 9/9/99. There you go. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm so excited about this.
See, now this is why I didn't want to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, he's going to have a reaction.
I sure
great.
will. Aren't you glad it's that and not... Oh.
Hey, everybody. This is Dying on a Hill, the podcast about marketing and business ideas that someone should have given up on way before it was too late. and actually, this kind of goes against that because I think they gave up on it immediately.
Maybe they gave up on it immediately, but it was still way too late.
Yeah. Oh, man. So let's dive into it. So Sega Dreamcast came out in 1999, 999. Was it on like September 9th, 1999? Yes. So 9999.
Yes. I remember seeing there's like a big commercial for it on, I think it was the MTV Video Music Awards.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just go into it. So Sega had released Sega Saturn CD, like Sega Saturn and Sega CD. They didn't sell very much. They also had the 32X, which was like the weird beefy Genesis.
Oh, yeah.
That you could plug a bunch of shit into if you wanted to. So that was so unpopular, it eventually dropped to $20. Like in the primary sale market.
I remember as a kid, especially because I couldn't have a console until I was 10, every like video game console or thing, I'd be all big, bright-eyed and about it. But that, even I was like, I don't get it. I'm out.
and yeah, so I guess like you're right. Like they all had very like serious kind of like edginess to them.
Yeah.
They're kind of like extreme. Like they actually positioned themselves as like the gamers console.
Really?
And letting it, I mean, like the Super Nintendo, and they let the Super Nintendo be like the family console, and we'll have blood and all that shit.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
But then PlayStation came out, which was like, oh yeah, well, how do you like these tits?
That was their marketing slogan.
And Sega
They stole
was
it
like,
from the milk campaign.
yeah. And so then Sega was like, oh yeah, well, what if those tits look like Sonic? Everyone was like, what? So they needed to have a big hit. They figured, let's go away from, they basically like said, let's try and Nintendo this. Let's make a white rounded looking thing. And they thought that this would like complement like their state of the art insides. And like, truth be told, it really was like, it was a really good gaming. It was basically what they were making for arcades. They just like made it for the console.
Oh,
so it was pretty powerful.
Oh,
like it was definitely still a home version of like, but like it was made so that they could easily port shit that they would make like for Capcom and stuff like that.
Wow, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Right. And it also had an internet modem.
Oh, did it?
It just came with a modem in 1999.
Yeah.
Which was expensive back then. So it basically gave you the free internet.
Oh my God.
With your phone line.
And that was the first console to do that?
Yeah.
That's still though.
And and no one asked them to do it. Like, because people didn't think about it. But they're like, people are really going to appreciate when we give them the internet with their gaming.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what are you talking about?
This is complicated. I don't want to, it's jacking up my phone bill. I don't want to use this at all.
Wait, what do you mean you're not playing Phantasy Star Online? I kept seeing used copies of that game in my local GameStop.
Really?
And I never fucking knew what the hell it was about.
Was that the one with like the purple jester hat character?
Oh, maybe. They all had fucking dumbass Renaissance clothes. Even like the Kingdom Hearts kid.
Oh, that's right.
Has puffy pants.
Yes. He got MC Hammer pants.
He does. So anyway, all right. So it's rounded. It's powerful. Let's see if people will buy it. Well, in Japan, they sold 300,000 units at launch.
Is that good or bad?
It, it was respectable, but they wanted to sell like 1 million or some shit.
Sure.
Like,
okay.
So they're like, oh, okay, not crazy. Maybe we have to try a little harder in America. So they released it on 9999, which is like 10 months after they released it in Japan.
Oh God. There was time for the Americas to hear about how weird it was.
Yeah, well, and there was also time for like games to catch up.
Oh, that's actually a good thing.
Because it only released, yeah, it was good. Hey, stop sleeping on the recorder, Donnie. Yeah, because they only had 4 games at launch in Japan.
Yeah.
And like, they were probably all dumb.
Yeah, were any of them Sonic?
I mean, I don't even think they had, like, I remember Capcom versus Marvel was a big one on the Dreamcast.
And that totally makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like a fighter. Shenmue, it launched with Shenmue.
Shenmue?
I think it launched with Shenmue.
Is that like an action adventure?
It was like a fucking, it's like this sweeping epic story of a guy and his girlfriend getting kidnapped, and he has to like go to the big city.
Did Shenmue 3 just come out?
Yeah, it came out not too long ago.
So it was that original one.
Yeah.
That's supposed to, okay, that's a big deal.
And that was kind of like a big dick move for them, because they were like, let's show people that games can be art.
Yeah.
Like in a movie, you can tell a story.
With cinematic cutscenes and
yeah. And then, oh man. So yeah, all right. So it came out in 1999. They committed $100 million to a campaign called "It's Thinking."
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, wait till you see these fucking ads. I'm gonna read you a press release first,
okay,
and then I'm gonna show you these fucking ads. And there's such a fun little factoid about one of them. That's the most fucking 90s thing I've ever. All right, so here's the press release. Prepping for the biggest video game launch the industry has ever seen, Sega is armed with an arsenal of far-reaching marketing elements ranging from expansive print and broadcast advertising campaign to promotions with Pepsi to full sponsorship of the Super Bowl of the young adult demographic, the 1999 MTV Music Awards.
Jesus Christ. Oh, no. The Super Bowl of the young generation? What did they say?
The Super Bowl of the young adult demographic.
Oh, my God.
Which is like, wouldn't that also be the Super Bowl?
Yes, that is 100% correct.
All right. Hey, can you hand me that Roku remote?
Yeah.
Because I think I'm actually going to play this off.
Is there any talk in your presentation of the controller?
No, but we can definitely talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah, because like there's another good point about these commercials that we're going to talk about after.
Nice. I forgot about It's Thinking.
It's thinking.
Oh, that's so scary.
The oncoming storm. Yeah, and I forgot about that dumb logo it had.
Just the swirly thing?
The little, yeah, what the fuck is this thing? And they're like, it's going to be ubiquitous with Dreamcast. And everyone was like, we don't know what it is.
Like that Dane Cook super finger logo.
Yeah. Like, how is that still on the bumpers of cars?
They're old cars.
They go to the gym. Here we go.
There it is.
All right, here's one. I don't know. Okay, let's watch this shorter one.
Okay. Oh, Mission Impossible.
She's a kung fu kicking lady.
Well,
stealing the internets. Now she's running away. Still got the internet. She burst through the glass wall.
Uh-oh. She's being chased by
a crashing plane.
What? No! Oh my God! 9/11! It predicted 9/11!
And that did the pilot just say sorry?
Whoa! She'll call. I'm a love machine. It's the thief.
It's the thief.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So, did the good guys win in that commercial?
You know, it really throws you for a loop, doesn't it?
Yeah, it may, because you see a thing like that of like a spy stealing something. We're very, very trained to think the spy or the thief is the good guy.
Right.
Then the thief gets caught, and all the characters are like, hooray, the thief is caught.
Wait, was it the Dreamcast trying to... It was the Dreamcast trying to free itself.
Oh. And so...
But, all right, so the Dreamcast needed to get stolen.
In order to be freed?
But when it got out, it was like, okay, I don't need you anymore.
That is a lot. That is a lot to take in for a commercial. Also, this commercial that just showed up, that's the one that I remember.
Ah.
But I forget. These commercials are scary.
Yeah. I don't think they knew how to market to people.
Oh, hello. Yeah, these commercials are marketed towards, if you're a computer, you're going to love this because this Dreamcast hates humans.
Oh, wait till you see the PS2 commercials.
Oh, I will wait.
Yeah, those are fun. So, guys, it was thinking.
It was thinking.
Man, that Dreamcast had thoughts. So things they also tried for the Dreamcast besides those terrible commercials.
Yeah.
My wife's eating a Hostess.
How you forget about the cream filling? Hey, where's the cream filling? Hey, you should do a podcast on that.
What was that again?
That was for Hostess.
Oh, wait. Did they ever not have cream filling?
It was like animal.
Were people just buying sponge cake at one point?
No. Some sort of fool in a commercial, like a silly animal or character, would think that something looked like a Hostess treat, and then they would take a bite, and it would not be the Hostess treat, and they would go, "Hey, where's the cream filling?"
And that's where the reference in Lion King comes from.
Is that in the Lion King?
Well, I love the ones with the little cream filling.
Oh, yeah, they talking about bugs.
So, anyways, they hired the company that made Bugs Life.
What?
Or not Bugs Life. Not that would be Pixar. No, I meant to say Ants.
Oh, even better.
They bought ads on the WB.
Yes.
They bought ads in front of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
What?
They like bought them in front of like everywhere they were on TV, and then they even bought them in front of like screenings of them.
So Sega was like, we need to. Arnold's our guy.
We need to canvas who we think these kids are.
Arnold fans love Sega.
and they bought ads in front of Star Wars.
Oh,
and
Phantom Menace.
And their weird thing with Pepsi. I don't know how Pepsi helps them.
You know, it reminds me of like how now Mountain Dew will campaign to gamers.
That's right.
When it's like, we know you're drinking this while you're playing Halo and Call of Duty, so we're just gonna fucking give it to you.
Yeah, you want some 2x experience points?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Those are all Pepsi. Maybe this thing is still going with Pepsi and video games.
Yeah, maybe they tried it out.
Sega Dreamcast were pioneers.
So anyways, after watching all those confusing ads, I don't know if I'm going to put them in, but they're definitely confusing.
Yes.
Only 45% of their target demo knew about the Dreamcast.
Oh, fuck.
And most of the people, even if they knew about it, had no idea what it was. So, but like things did seem okay. They spent enough money that it had people talking, and at the time they recorded the most pre-orders of any console.
Oh,
300,000, and they were like, "Fuck yeah, man, that's great. It's double what PlayStation's pre-orders were." And we did double that. We're gonna be awesome, right? So they adjusted their projections from 1.5 million to 3 million because they love adjusting their projections. They did this before with the other consoles.
They love.
Oh, with Japan, they did that too.
Oh, really?
And it hurt them because they actually didn't have enough of the fucking manufacturing chips.
Oh no!
To make the amount that they ordered anyways.
That sounds like executive versus laborer stuff all over again.
Sounds
of
like Japan.
Yeah, great, let's double it. And the workers being like, we can't do that.
we can't. They couldn't even buy the chips. Like the chips were not in existence yet.
Oh my God.
Like they had to wait for them to make a batch of chips.
Oh.
So anyways, unfortunately, this was like a little too pie in the sky.
Of course. Okay.
Because it ended up selling less than both the N64, which eventually sold 1.9 million,
Oh,
and
yeah.
PlayStation, which sold 3.3 million.
Fuck.
So it sold less than the consoles it was supposed to be replacing.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because the thing was, like, the Dreamcast, in a way, was the first next gen console.
Mm-hmm.
But it just wasn't good enough.
So the previous gen outsold that next gen console.
Yeah.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the PS2 came out.
And that obliterated.
And it was
right?
just fucking done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No one was buying the Dreamcast anymore.
God.
You wanted to talk about the
Goddamn right I did. That controller was a goddamn monstrosity. I know that I'm in the minority when I say that I think the Nintendo GameCube controller is like really convoluted and squished together, but there are people that love the GameCube controller.
I think it's very comfortable. No, the Wavebird. If you gotta play with the
Wavebird.
The Wavebird's the wireless one, the gray one.
Oh yes, I have played with that. Yeah. I still feel like the buttons are just especially the buttons on the right side are like, here are the buttons. Like, you figure it out. But I know I'm in the minority on that. Dreamcast, I would be shocked if there was a single person that was like, oh yeah, a brick with wings? I'll do it. Like that memory card slot in the middle.
Really hard feeling plastic.
Yeah, and your hands are so far apart. There's no curve to it like you get now with the PlayStation and Xbox controllers.
All right, so joysticks now have like a rubber on them, like a rubber sheath.
Yes,
for grip and support.
Yes, yes.
And I feel like the Dreamcast had just hard, shiny, dimpled joysticks
that can damage your thumbs.
Yeah, it really fucking hurts.
Yeah. I forgot about that part. I just remember seeing it and being like, this looks like a fucking space helmet. I can't play Sonic video games with this thing.
And it had a useless memory slot in it.
Yes.
That looked like you should play a video game on it, but every time you got to one of them, the thing had been dead for years.
Oh, yes.
So dead that there was no amount of plugging it in that would ever charge it ever again, because this thing was made in 1999 and you got yours in 2006.
Right. And it was huge. You could put like a friggin' cheeseburger in it.
I remember we used to put stuff in it to like hold.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I cannot believe that anybody would make a new console and shape the controller like that and be like, winner. Like, no.
So all right, so in 2000 it started taking the price cut that consoles always take, which is like, it went from $350 which is honestly not that bad these days. These days, like, a new console costs $500.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the Switch. And the Nintendo Switch is, I think, still like $300.
Like, it was $299. Yeah, I think it's down to $1. I don't know, but yeah, but that's Nintendo's thing. They keep it cheap.
Oh yes,
they know that it's for kids to play, and kids don't buy their own shit, so make it cheap.
But yeah, the markdown price. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
And so here is and the problem that they had. Let me see. I think he's going to explain it pretty well. So I'm just going to say what Tadashi Takazaki. All right, I'm going to do that again.
You racist.
From Tadashi Takazaki.
There you go.
All right.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Rolled pretty well. The head of Project Implementation Department, President's Office. That's his title.
Sheesh, gosh.
This is what he told The Verge. It was because we were forced into a discount war when we were already losing money on system sales. Sony, whose PlayStation 2 came out in March 2000 in Japan, was part of the team that developed the DVD standard, and they could develop a system around that completely internally with their own chips. Sega, meanwhile, was buying everything from outside companies, so was at a distinct cost disadvantage. We couldn't easily cut costs out in manufacturing, the software wasn't selling the numbers it used to, and then we were forced to discount the system. God. So they were already losing money on every system they were selling.
Yeah.
But the plan in video games is to make that up with the overhead of video games. Because I mean, yeah, video games cost a lot to make, like as far as manpower, but you can sell an unlimited amount of them. Like, the actual making of them doesn't cost anything. You know, that's why like fucking Grand Theft Auto makes $5 billion, and they'll gladly spend another billion or just keep re-updating the online shit because it just makes money for them.
When did Grand Theft Auto 5 come out?
When did it?
Yeah.
Oh man, was that? I feel like that was before I left.
It was before I moved to LA, which was 2015.
So I moved here in 2000, like in the early part of this decade. Yeah. So I feel like it might have been 2010, 2009.
Fuck. They're still like they just came out with an online update.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason for them to do any Grand Theft Auto 6 yet because It's still selling copies, still doing the online stuff.
I feel like Rockstar, what they do really well is they develop an engine that they can just put a couple of decent games on.
Yeah, like
and
Red
then
Dead
it just pays for itself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So Dreamcast didn't play DVDs?
No,
I always assumed it did.
Just played CDs. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Oof.
And I remember, did I have a Dreamcast before I had a PS2? I'm wondering if I was that cheap and that much of a contrarian to have a Dreamcast. I should have, what an asshole. But not as much as an asshole as Peter Moore, who is the president and COO of Sega America. And he would later become the man who killed the Dreamcast.
Oh, yeah?
That's what he told Kotaku.
Sounds like a good guy to me.
This guy has gone on to work at EA.
Uh-oh.
And Xbox. So, he seems like a really nice guy.
He's the Mr. Magoo of the video game industry. You just don't want to put him near your valuables.
All right. He said, we had a tremendous 18 months. Dreamcast was on fire, and we really thought that we could do it. But when we had a target from Japan that said that we would make X hundreds of millions of dollars by the holiday season and shift X millions of units of hardware, otherwise, we couldn't just sustain the business. So, on January 31st, 2001, we said Sega is leaving hardware. We were selling 50,000 units a day, then 60, then 100, but it was just not going to be enough to get the critical mass to take on the launch of the PS2. Somehow, I got to make the call, not the Japanese. I had to fire a lot of people. It was not a pleasant day.
Oh, my God. And that's a year and a half after the Dreamcast came out in America.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
So I think they knew, maybe that's why they spent so much money. Because they're like, either we spend $100 million.
Mm-hmm. Like, keep throwing money at it.
Maybe sell some,
yeah.
Right? Or we don't spend $100 million and we definitely don't sell shit.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we see that that's a huge risk, but it's the only plan we got.
And I'm hesitant to say. So actually, I guess I don't know. Yeah, when you think about it that way, like they definitely lost money, but did they lose as much money as they could have lost?
Oh, like if they didn't throw money at the problem, they wouldn't have lost as much money, you think?
Yeah, what was like throwing money at the problem, then just like realizing when you've lost, take the L?
I would say so. I think there are some deadbeat dads that don't know that yet. Let me just pay for my son or daughter's everything, and then the kid grows up and is like, "I hate you," and you're like, "Ah, should have told me. I wouldn't have spent so much money."
Yeah, there's a lot of really good shit out there about Sega and just their whole thing. Yeah, because they've been a slow decline ever since the Genesis.
Yeah,
I think they peaked at Saturn. Like,
really?
Saturn was their moonshot.
Yeah,
that was them being like, "Hey, we fucking got this."
Is that the first console that had like live action?
I think it was one of the
clips?
first CD ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and it definitely had like Wing Commander on it.
Yeah. Oh,
with Mark Hamill.
Yes. Man. Yeah, a slow decline is really, since the Genesis is a really accurate way to put it. It's so, every so often I'll think about how Sega would advertise the Genesis with like, Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah.
And now Nintendo owns Sega, and it's like, oh man, what a cuck-ass move.
So yeah, that's when they started making like Sega games for PlayStation and like the GameCube. That's why you saw a lot of Sonic Adventure stuff on the GameCube.
Oh, so that's when it happened.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe
they never made a console to compete with the GameCube and PS2.
So it wasn't that they got bought.
Xbox.
It wasn't that they got bought. It was that they were like, okay, Sega's gonna go. We're gonna make games. It became a third-party game creator, so to speak.
Yeah, they're like, we have our proprietary stuff.
Yep.
We have deals that our teams can make. So like Sega made a lot of sports games at first.
Right.
I think they made they either made 2K or some other alternate franchise that also had a licensing deal with like all the major sports things. Because I think this is before they realized the real money was getting one person to pay you all of the money they can give you. Rather than like parceling it out.
It might have been 2K because I know there was an NFL 2K and an MLB 2K. And as a baseball video game fan, the MLB 2K games were garbage. Garbage.
Yeah, there's always like, but NBA 2K was always great.
Yep. And that still continues today. Yeah. So I think it was
No, but
I
2K
think
is 2K. Sega did have something other than that. I just can't remember.
Sega Sports?
I mean, maybe.
Like I think Sega Sports was like a studio they had or something like that. Like I remember it even involved Sega Sports had its own shoes, like for kids.
What?
Like they would just have sneakers. They would just have sneakers, and then on the side it would say Sega Sports. Yeah.
Are you sure you weren't in like Hollywood and Highland and they were just like like those Chinese tourists that just like having brands on them?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, they had a patch that was for Sega, and then a patch underneath for the Huey Lewis and the News album Sports.
Well, thanks for coming over.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I don't think anyone died on the hill. Who would you say died on the hill?
Sonic.
It was a blood sacrifice.
I guess it's it really doesn't seem like because the first episode I did of this, it was a couple of people like Steve Jobs and other Apple people like fighting for what was it, the iMac?
Yeah, the Apple.
Yes, the Apple II.
Yeah.
But
the Apple II, the Mac.
Okay, yes, the Macintosh. But for this, there was not anybody that was like, no, the Dreamcast must live on. The Dreamcast has to keep going, you guys. I guess if anything,
it's Sam Richardson in the fucking Baby of the Year sketch.
Oh, yeah, dump it. It's garbage. If anything, if anybody died on this hill, it would be the loser middle schooler that was in school when the Dreamcast came out that kept going, no, you guys, I've got a Dreamcast. You got to buy one so we can play it. Where are you going? That's who died on the hill.
Come on, who else am I going to...
Yeah, who else am I going to log up to the internet and play Fishman with? Or whatever that game was where it was like literally a fish with a man's face. It was terrifying.
But you guys, how else am I going to get good at King of Fighters?
Yes, exactly. I need someone to pull the hot dog out of the memory card and feed it to me so I don't have to use my hands. That's who died on the hill.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's a lot of people who still like Dreamcast out there. And I think it's gotten to the point where there's definitely a finite amount of Dreamcasts left.
Sure.
There's
yeah.
Definitely less than like 1 million, let's say.
Yeah.
You know? So if you got your hands on a Dreamcast, just keep it. Because it's not like anyone's making any more Dreamcasts.
Yeah, it could be. I feel like
I feel like there is something about the Dreamcast that is making it like it does go bad.
Oh, really?
I think all those things fail. That's right. The fucking DVD lens and all that shit. It degrades over time. So you would have to
like keep it up or like get a new. You'd have to repair a Dreamcast in the hopes that the market value will go like at $1,000 or whatever.
I think one of the problems with that is that you can't just replace a component because no one knows how they're encrypted.
Oh, you have to fucking kidnap the original engineer.
Yeah, so you can't repair a Dreamcast.
Yo, if you're one of the people that has a Dreamcast, a finite resources of it, sell. Please do not.
Dreamcast stock has never been higher.
Yes. Oh, man.
Do you got anything you want to promote, plug?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @the_Trevor_show. Also, speaking of video games, I am in the beginning stages of these projects that I think are going to do well and continue and whatnot. I am voicing a character and writing for a animated arcade cloud YouTube series called, I think it's going to be called The Crew.
Ooh.
And it is essentially it's Grand Theft Auto Online. Just 4 misfit characters that live in the Grand Theft Auto Online universe and try to steal and make money and do missions, and they just keep screwing up.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm voicing. There's the main characters are like a real pistol of a woman named Becky, and then there's a CJ from San Andreas character. I'm a Russian mobster with tattoos.
You got the GTA 5 in there.
And then there is just
or is that Liberty City?
That's a Liberty City, GTA 4, yeah. And then there is
is there anyone from Miami, Vice City?
No, not yet. Not yet. There may be side characters that have that because and then the 4th character is this character Phil, who's a real wimp, who's a real wuss. But yeah, the idea is episodes are based on missions in Grand Theft Auto Online. Like I just wrote one, we're editing one right now. This may be speaking too soon or out of turn, but it may be episode 3 where there's an episode where, or a mission in Grand Theft Auto Online where Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto 5 says that these bikers from the Lost Motorcycle Gang Club are stealing satellite dishes from a satellite tower. And he's like, that's terrible. They can't do that. You need to kill them and steal the satellite dishes for me. So in this episode, they go to do that. But then the bikers are like, oh, we just set up these satellite dishes to watch free cable. Do you want to watch free cable with us? And they become best friends. And they have a great night. And and as they're driving home drunk as hell, they're like, that was so great. I'm so glad we didn't steal those satellite dishes. Oh, fuck, we need to steal those satellite dishes. Go back and it repeats, and then it happens again and again. Yeah. And that's a really a fun thing that, it's really fun to just find a Grand Theft Auto Online mission and then be like, all right, how do we fucking make this funny? And then I get to voice a character on it too. It's great.
That's awesome, man.
So Arcade Cloud is also doing another thing separately with this a YouTuber, Josh Ovenshire, who goes by Jovenshire. And he's starting up. It's funny because it's just coincidental that I'm also this other Arcade Cloud project I'm also involved in. He's starting a web series called Worst Ways to Die. It's also animated, and it's essentially a top 5 listicle of the worst ways that you can die in a video game.
Sure.
Like the most embarrassing or the most frustrating. And so I'm writing that with him. And so the first episode is Final Fantasy VII, where, I'm trying to remember some of those. Some of the examples are like, you don't have you thought that you saved your save point right next to the boss, and you died, and you find out that you lost an hour of footage, or an hour of playtime. One is you're in the submarine.
Or when you save in the one spot where you can't get healed.
Oh God, yes, it's another one. Yeah,
you're just doomed to impossibly try and beat the boss that has most of his life, and you got nothing left.
Yeah, and you have to keep going again and again. I think another one is
because you saved an hour away.
Yeah. Another one is you're in the submarine and you're cruising around. You're like, oh my God, I just got in the submarine, and you see Emerald Weapon, like this optional boss that's extremely powerful, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go touch it and see what it is, and he obliterates you within seconds, and you're like, well, this isn't fun. So yeah, we got, I think that episode 1 of Final Fantasy VII is in development, or they're animating it now. Episode 2, we're working on Minecraft. So yeah, Worst Ways to Die, and the Grand Theft Auto one, I think it's called The Crew. Look for that on YouTube, and you'll see my some of my voice work and my writing work.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna have you return more often because you're more and more. You have more and more things every
I'm
time.
improving, man. If that's how it goes, you keep bringing me back like every week, and hopefully I'll keep it going and be like, yeah, man. Now I found this bag of cash.
It said, "Shh, don't tell anyone." So I'm like, I didn't.
Oh, can we not release this?
Oh, okay. Here's PS2 commercials.
Gotcha.
It's like this guy being like, "I have a double life."
What? Whoa. What the hell?
Right? This is creepy.
That guy's a fucking pedophile. What the?
Yeah.
He's naked.
British people are weird sometimes.
This is like...
I think she is from the movie Snatch.
You know what I was going to ask you is this directed by that guy that directed Trainspotting?
Danny Boyle?
Yes, if that's the guy that did that, then yes.
I don't know about this one.
Do you know, how the hell is this a PlayStation commercial? Jesus.
Because you live a double life in the video game, man.
Okay, I'm going to be a naked skinny boy in a bathtub and a legless dude in a subway?
Exactly.
Sign me up.
Don't you want to live that life?
No, I don't want to be a shirtless woman with a child.
But what's funny, like they were saying, like, I've raped, I've murdered, I've had unabridged mayhem. And it's like, well, yeah, but when you put it like that.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck.
I forgot that this is very jarring to look at.
Yes. Why did they do this? Maybe because it sticks in your head that way? It's just he's laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that David Cronenberg? I keep guessing like, oh, these big movie directors? It's like, no, dude.
No, you know who that was? Chris Cunningham.
Oh!
The director of Rubber Johnny, the Aphex Twins music video.
Okay, yeah, that makes all the sense in the fucking world.
Motherfucking 90s.
Yeah, dude, for real. Yes, that is so, ugh. Is it Aphex or Apex Twin?
I just kind of combine them and do a
Aphex Twin.
Like a
Aphex Twin.
It's a F could punch. It's
Aphex Twin.
Aphex Twin.
Dude, that makes all the sense in the world, though. I only know one thing about that band, and it's that there's some song they have where if you play like the wavelengths of it or whatever, and I don't think this is like a super. I think there's some bands that have figured out you can do this and they do it. But like you're playing a song and it kind of scrolls, sort of like a lie detector test, and it'll make these waves or whatever of like music, and then they play this weird sound or do this weird collection of sound and noises that on the wavelength collections, it's the face of the lead singer making like a wide-eyed, open mouth, like scary face. And like, if you don't know that that's what you're looking for going into it, fucking terrifying. Like everything about that band is unnerving to me. So it makes all the sense in the world that, yeah, Scottish ballerina with an alien head, and they don't explain why her head's shaped like that. And she's like, buy a PlayStation. Or she didn't even mention it. It's like, all right, get me out of here. I don't want to buy this product.
Yeah, I don't think like. It really surprises me that PlayStation sold. I mean, it sold as much as it did because it was fucking great. Like,
oh yeah.
The next on the playlist is A History of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, and it kind of was until I did the research for this episode that I really, really came to terms with how bad the N64 was by 2002.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just not. It was barely hanging in there.
Really?
I had it, and that's when you had the expansion pack that you had to buy
Oh, yeah.
to play like Majora's Mask
Yeah.
and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, but that shit froze. It froze on my N64.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
It's not a disc. Oh, man.
It crashed that shit.
Gosh, yeah, the later stages of N64, I think a good amount of people had gotten out by it because like I think the only like late N64 game that like worked or in terms of sales was Smash Brothers. Because like Donkey Kong Country 64, a lot of people didn't like that. I liked it, but whatever. But that's how I know nobody liked it, is because I'd be like, "Hey, you want to play the multiplayer at Donkey Kong 64?" And they'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
I remember. I liked Donkey Kong 64.
Aw.
Yeah, there was a few ones that required the expansion pack. Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong 64. I feel like there was one more.
I know.
Is it a Pokemon thing?
Oh, I don't know. I like that I said I know, and then you asked me a simple question. I was like, oh, I don't know.
Is it Pokemon Stadium?
I know that I don't know if it was required, but I know that it helped or whatever. Maybe it was required. Star Wars Rogue Squadron. And that game was awesome. Yeah. I loved that game. Cause I'll fuck with like third person or first person Star Wars games sometimes, but to me, Star Wars is all about flying in an X-Wing or a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
And that is all that game was. And I was like, feed me.
I remember playing that game at the GameStop for a while.
Yeah.
That was a good demo game.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn. You remember demos? Remember game demos? You'd be playing like the third level of a random ass thing.
Yeah.
And just like.
And then you buy the game and you're like, oh, that level, is it not there?
It's not in here at all.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, wait, yes, it is later on. That's pretty cool. I get acquainted now. Man, I think there were like sometimes, especially. Gosh, with like if you subscribe to PlayStation Magazine, you'll get like a demo CD with a couple of different demos.
Oh yeah, the multiple demos.
Yeah, that was great. They didn't have that for Nintendo 64 because it was cartridges but not disc. But I got, and I think I got one of these, and I think there were more than one. But sometimes Toys R Us would mail you a VHS tape that was a preview of an N64 game. And I got one, you can look this up on YouTube, for Banjo-Kazooie, narrated by John Lovitz. Yes, indeed. And he would be like, oh, it's the bear and the bird, and they're at it again. It was those first game or whatever. And I remember he would say the names of the levels, and one of them he went, Bubble Gloop Swamp. It was so great because it's fucking John Lovitz.
I am so glad that I am still recording. I was like, oh, this will be a lovely end conversation. John Lovitz Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, it was a Toys R Us VHS.
It is 10 minutes long.
Yeah, it goes through so much of the game.
All right. I'm going to release this part as a bonus episode. What? Okay. All right.
That was the intro to the game.
What?